Hi Flosstube, and welcome to my channel. I am Heather, the 20-minute stitcher, and this is Flosstube number 3. If you are new here, welcome. I'm new here too. So happy that you chose to spend some time with me today. If you are returning, thank you so much. You have no idea how excited I am about every new subscriber I get and every watch. It's really fun, and I'm so happy that you chose to spend some more of your time here with me. So for those of you who are new to the channel, again, I'm obviously new here too. The 20-minute stitcher, I call myself the 20-minute stitcher because, short version of the story that I shared in Flosstube number 1, I am a single parent with 2 kids, a demanding but wonderful full-time job, and I love to cross stitch. I've been cross stitching since I was about 6. But because of my life and my schedule and my kids' schedules, I often really only have my best stitching time most weeks tends to be the 20 minutes between when my daughter gets on the bus for her high school and when my son needs to get up to get ready for his day at school. I stitch more on the weekends, typically if it's not an overly busy weekend, but I pretty much only stitch 20 minutes each day in the mornings in between my kids' school, like I said, when my daughter gets on the bus and my son gets up for school. So that is why I'm called the 20-minute stitcher. I also try to keep my videos to about 20 minutes. There are so many fabulous floss tubes out there, and I love to watch them, but I know I always have to watch them in little chunks because they're all much longer. So my hope is maybe I'm filling a gap. If you also are busy but want to be able to watch a whole episode, maybe one of mine will work. So that's a little bit about me and why I call myself the 20-minute stitcher. Again, so happy that you are choosing to spend some of your day here with me. Thank you to those of you who have commented on my previous videos too. I'm trying my best to be sure that I respond to every comment I receive. One of the reasons I chose to do a floss tube, other than the fact that I don't really know anyone else around me who stitches, is that I am looking to put myself out there a little bit more and start to build a community and make some new friends, even if they're just virtual friends. Virtual friends are friends too. So thank you again for spending some of your time with me today. Today's video, I have a few things to share. Figured I'd share a little bit about my life. I know I always enjoy that. I love to see the patterns and the things that the other floss tubes I watch are stitching, but I also like to learn about them as people as well. So I'll share a little bit about me. I figure if I like that in other floss tubers, I better share it with mine as well. I have a finish to share, so hooray for that. I will share an update on the March Madness vote from my last video and show the progress that I made there, and then I have a new March Madness bracket matchup for you to help me vote on today. So a little bit of a life update. I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done this week. My 20 minutes in the morning were interrupted in a couple of days this week due to a work event that I was helping to run, which went very well, but was very busy, very exhausting. So my stitching was a little less. I did stitch some last night. I'm filming this on a Sunday, so on Saturday night I did stitch some and got some more progress done, but there's not a whole lot of progress to show you this week, and sometimes that happens, but even 50 stitches is 50 more than there were before. So so I had that big work event. My son is in Cub Scouts, and they had their Pinewood Derby yesterday, so that was a big chunk of time out of the day. I sit on the committee for his pack, so we were there to help set up and stayed to tear down, but he's very proud of himself. His car, named On Fire, finished 3rd place overall. So he got a chocolate bar and a medal that he wore the entire rest of the day. He was very proud of himself, as he should have been. He designed his car himself, painted it himself. My dad, his grandfather, helped him with all of it, but he had the whole vision for the car, and so he was really proud of his work, and I'm really happy that it worked out well for him. So that was sort of my week, work, Pinewood Derby. My daughter has softball practice. Her first games start this coming week. So things are definitely getting busy as we move into the spring. In Flosstube number 1, I did a little bit of an intro of myself, where I live, my kids, my pets, things like that. I figured I'd share a little bit more out of that. So some of the other things on sort of know your cross stitcher, your not Instagrammer, your floss tuber. Thought I would share maybe like my favorite movie, my favorite TV show, favorite book, things like that. Even though like it's hard for me to choose that. So I would say probably my favorite TV shows are The West Wing and The Big Bang Theory. More recent shows, I'm also really enjoying Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. I am enjoying a great deal. I was a big fan of the original CSI, and now that it came back in CSI Las Vegas, I did enjoy watching that as well. Sorry, I keep looking off to the right here. One of my cats is like right here, and I'm just trying to decide if he's going to try and crash my video. So those are some of my favorite TV shows. I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting. I love Doctor Who as well, though I'm behind by a couple of seasons. I got to get caught up. Favorite movies, I'm going to show off my weird tastes here. So one of my all-time favorite movies is Amadeus, which is a flashback from, like it came out in like the late 80s. I also love A Few Good Men. I also love pretty much anything Disney, anything Marvel. We love all those movies in our house. And favorite books. So I have had 3 favorite books since childhood. And those are Watership Down by Richard Adams, The Secret of Nim, and The Never-Ending Story. Those are probably my 3 favorite books. More recently, I'm going to blank on the author's name, but I really enjoyed When Breath Becomes Air, which was just a sad but wonderful read as well. And I just finished listening to Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I'm a big fan of her. Some of the things that I've been through in my life in the last few years, my cancer diagnosis, the what's the word I'm looking for? I guess my marriage ending. Her work really mattered to me. So I really enjoy her work as well. And then my favorite music, I have kind of eclectic music tastes. Anything that's good, I like. My daughter is really big into languages and so listens to a lot of foreign music. So even though I have no idea what the words are, there's some great foreign music that she listens to that I enjoy. I am a trained singer. I used to sing with a professional orchestra chorus, so I really enjoy a lot of classical music. I listen to a lot of classical music and lo-fi music while I work. So anything that's good, basically. I like country, I like pop. I listen to just about anything. I love musicals. So I think now I'm seeing why I didn't really answer these questions in my first Flosstube, because I don't know that I really have a lot of favorites. I have a lot of things I really enjoy, but not necessarily any one favorite. So that's a little bit more about me. Would love to hear. I love books. I love to read. So if I would love to hear in the comments any great book that you've read lately. As I mentioned in my first Flosstube, I am stitching from stash this year. I am also doing my best to read from stash. I love books. I love to buy books, but I sort of on a whim one day, kind of late in 2021, I counted the number of books on my bookshelves that I have not read yet, and it was an embarrassingly high number. So I set for myself a read from stash goal for 2022 as well, to read the books that I already own before I go and purchase any more or check any more out from the library. So that's a little bit more about me. So let's get into the stitching. As I mentioned, I have a finish. I'm sure you can guess which one it is. I did finish my a murder pattern, or Murder of Crows. And the pattern called for doing red French knots. What is that? Get off there. Called for putting red French knots in on the crows. And I put red beads on a couple of them, like tiny little beads, and just didn't really like the breakup of the dimension of the pattern. I mean, it looked really cool. They looked pretty sinister and creepy, but it broke up the sort of just one dimensionality of the pattern in a way that I didn't really like. So I took them out, and I'm just going to leave it as is. It obviously still needs to be washed and ironed, but this is going to get framed and put up at Halloween time. But I'm really, really happy with how this one turned out. So this is a murder, and it is finished. So huzzah. Let me get, I forgot to get my little notebook where I keep all of my pattern information. So I have just a spiral notebook that I started this year to, hey look, there's a pattern in there, that I started this year to keep track of my stitching. Theoretically, I'm going to like print up pictures and put them in here like of the finished product and maybe of a couple as I go. But yeah, so this pattern is from Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy, and I stitched it on 14 count Aida in gray by Zweigart, and I finished that last Sunday, March 6th. So that is a finish. Then also wanted to share progress. So I'm doing sort of my own modified version of March Madness. And so last week I asked you to tell me in the comments whether you wanted me to focus this week on my Bent Creek Fall La La pattern, which is this one here, or if you wanted me to focus on my Positively Bedeviled by Meetings pattern, which looks like this. This is one I had mentioned that I was stitching to hang in my office because the number of meetings that I have at work on some weeks is just absolutely absurd. And at the beginning of the week, the two were tied. So I actually worked on both of them a little bit, but then toward the end of the week, more votes came in just for meetings. So I worked more on meetings than I did on Fall La La, but I will show my progress on both of them, and everything is sticking to my needle minder here. So before last week, I pretty much only had this red leaf here and a little bit of the F done. So I stitched the F and the A and part of the first L, and then stitched this yellow leaf here. I think the llama's face comes out over here, and so that's why it's not any bigger than that. So I made some progress on that. I like the way it's looking. I am stitching this with all of the called for colors, which are Classic Colorworks colors and Weeks Dye Works colors. And this is just on some mystery even weave that I got from my mom. So that is my progress on Fall La La. And then, as I mentioned, towards the end of the week, the Positively Bedeviled by Meetings pattern got more votes, and so I spent more time on that. And I have Positively Bedeviled done. So making progress on the words. I think I'm probably going to do all of the words first, and then just do the wreath of flowers around it. So maybe not. I might get bored of doing 310 and start doing the colors. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who cast a vote in my first week of March Madness. I went back and forth on how to handle week 2, if I wanted to sort of do like a loser's bracket kind of thing and put Fall La La up against something else, or if I wanted to have a challenger for Positively Bedeviled by Meetings. But because apparently like the 6 whips that I have in progress are not enough, I actually decided that this week's March Madness bracket is going to be between 2 new starts. Now that I've finished Murder, I have an empty project bag. We can't have that, right? And I don't have another Halloween pattern that I really feel motivated to start right now because all the other Halloween patterns I have, while I love them, are a little larger. And I kind of feel like I want to maybe tackle another slightly smaller pattern. So the 2 patterns that I have for you to vote between for today are both going to be new starts that I have all the flosses for and fabrics for. So the first one is a Lizzie Kate pattern that I've had for years. Hold on, I'm getting a glare off the light. Let's see. And it's in this like CD case, which is kind of interesting. But it is a Lizzie Kate pattern that comes with all of its little beads and everything. And it's called Inspiration Boxer. I'm not sure why it's called that, but it basically just says, I know God won't give me anything I can't handle. I just wish he didn't trust me so much. And I just think it's funny and cute, and also true. So, so that is the first pattern. If you would like me to start this one, why don't you drop a comment with the word trust in it? How about that? And that will be a vote for this pattern. And then the other one, we'll stick with Lizzie Kate, is a Lizzie Kate Christmas Is. So why not start Christmas in March? So I would just say, how about comment with Christmas if you would like to see me start this one this week. I'll probably keep working on the meetings as well, just because I am moving into my new office this week. And so the sooner I get that done, the sooner I can hang it up. But I will focus my efforts this week on a new start. So trust if you would like the Lizzie Kate Inspiration Boxer pattern, and Christmas if you would like me to start Christmas Is. So that's everything I have for this video. Again, I really appreciate you choosing to spend time with me. I know there are so many floss tubes out there that are great and wonderful to watch. And so I'm really grateful for all of you who choose to spend some time with me. So again, I'm Heather. I'm the 20-Minute Stitcher. Love to have you comment and tell me what you're working on. As I mentioned before, would love to hear what your favorite book is that you've read recently. Even though I'm reading from Stash, I am allowing myself to check things out from the library if I'm just not feeling motivated to read one of the far too many unread books on my bookshelf. Drop your vote for my March Madness for this week. So Christmas for the Lizzie Kate Christmas Is, or Trust for the Lizzie Kate Inspiration Boxer. So subscribe if you like what you're seeing. I would love to have you drop a comment, ring that little bell to get notified when I upload new videos, which I upload. I know in my very first Flosstube, I said that I would upload every 2 weeks, but I'm having so much fun. So I think I'm going to try and stick with an every week schedule if I make enough progress, which if I stick to an every week schedule, that'll motivate me to make enough progress. So thanks so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope that the weather is getting warmer wherever you are. It's getting colder here in Ohio. It's like 20 degrees and snowing. And I think it's supposed to be back up to like mid-50s by the middle of the week, though this time of year in northern Ohio is such a yo-yo with the temperature. It's crazy. Anyway, thank you again for spending time with me. Again, I'm Heather, the 20-Minute Stitcher. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and happy stitching.